Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 2 of Ni Sasowarete, lured by. Enjoy. Tell me, he said as he gently but firmly pulled on your hair to the side to get you to lay down in his lap. How is it? He asked as he dragged a manicured sharp nail along your spine and down to the hem of your dress that was only just covering your ass cheek. That you are so strong, yet so weak, so powerful in your feminine form, yet could die at any second. You didn't know how to answer his question, so then asked your own question instead. Is there a way to be with you forever? You asked in a breathy tone, arching as his hands roamed your form. Yes, he said, mindlessly as he watched his fingers glide over your perfect skin. And if you do well, I'll reward you with being able to be by my side forever. I'll do anything. You breathed, nuzzling into his hand as he used it to stroke your cheek and turn your face to look into your eyes. You will, he said firmly, and your skin prickled as his eyes bore into you, turning your brain to mush. With fragility comes strength, Muzan mused lightly as he continued to touch you gently wherever you were showing skin. You lay your head down more and relaxed against him. He thought for a moment and then spoke again. Tonight, I will treat you, but I need you to do something for me. You'll be rewarded for a job well done if you do well, he said. I've never failed you before, and I don't intend on starting now, you said, as he rolled a little in his lap, exposing your soft stomach to him like a cat lazily rolling in its master's lap. Good, he said with a small smirk of approval. Then listen well. You nodded, waiting for him to talk again. His fingernails dragged along your exposed thigh, and your eyelids fluttered at his touch. I have had something stolen from me, he finally said, his gaze watching his fingers move as he trailed them up your body towards your face. What was it? You asked softly. A book, he replied nonchalantly, as his fingers made their way up to your chin and gripped just under it, making sure you were making a direct eye contact with him. You knew better than to ask unnecessary questions, and truth be told, you didn't care what was in the book. All that mattered to you was that the book belonged to Muzan, and he wanted it back. End of story. I'll get it for you, he replied, staring longingly into his sharp red eyes. The neutral look on his face changed slightly, and a smirk pulled at his lips. Very good. You know your place. I was right to bring you back to me, he said as he pulled your chin to move you closer to himself. You half pushed up on your elbows, then hands, moving towards him so that your lips could touch, but it was only for a brief moment before he pushed you away. Go now. Do not disturb me until I come for you tonight. Use this time to organize your plan. I want my book returned, he said, and you quickly scurried backwards off his lap and bowed your head to your hands that were placed on the floor. Yes, sir, you said as you slowly crawled backwards out of the room with your head still held low. Out of his room you went, sliding the door closed in front of you before getting up and turning to walk back to your room with your heart beating wildly. I felt so in control, yet so out of control at the same time. Whenever I'm around him, he's so intimidating, but alluring. I don't know what to do, you thought as you went back to your room and sat down on the bed on the floor. I'll get his book back. Wait, you suddenly froze. Where is it? What does it look like? Who took it? How am I supposed to find out where it is and how to get it back? You stood up, intending to go back to Muzan to ask your questions, but stopped after taking one step. Wait, he said not to be disturbed, and something tells me never to anger him. He trusts me, surely. He must have faith that I can work it out on my own, you thought, as you turned to your wardrobe instead. I'm feeling neutral now. 20 minutes later you were dressed in very neutral clothing, both feminine and masculine at the same time, but also neither, heading out of Muzan's house to walk around for a bit to think about how you were going to get this book back for him. Walking the quiet streets brought you to a larger and busier street until you found yourself at the markets where you had met Muzan the night before. You found that noise quite soothing. It was enough to allow your brain to tick over things. Who would want to take his book? You wondered as you walked. An enemy of his? You walked along the street, looking at each stall and the items sold within. Where do I go to get information on things? Every town has an underground with information. You thought, I could ask there about a book. But then after thinking about that for a second, you shook your head and smiled sadly to yourself. No, I can't do that. This book must be a secret. If Muzan were to find out that I'd been talking about it, I could be in trouble. He entrusts me with the information. I can't ask others. Well, I'm glad he accepted our apology and we got the money to him, you heard a female voice say. Yes, and it was good to spend time alone with you again. A male voice replied. It's nice to spend time with you when we're not on a mission. I know, right? Not that getting that book wasn't fun, but to be with you without my life or yours being in danger is always a plus, the female said again. You paused and looked up, trying to locate the owners of this conversation, because something told you that the book that they had mentioned somehow was the book that you were looking for Muzan. Walking a little quicker, you caught up to a girl and a guy, both kind of around the age of 14 and dressed a little strangely, with swords attached to their belts. The swords couldn't be seen from the outside, but you could see something stiff under their coats and guessed it was a weapon of some kind. These two appear to be part of some kind of police or military unit, you thought, as you followed them for a bit. Do we have drills or anything this afternoon back at headquarters? The female of the pair asked the male as she sneakily held his hand, and the male of the pair intertwined his fingers with hers. Yes, I think so. The master is concerned now that the book is in his possession. He feels that someone will try and take it, since the demons know it's been taken away. The male of the pair replied. Demons, book, what is this all about? You wondered, still tailing them. Well, it's a powerful book, I understand his concern, the female replied. Okay, I don't know if this is the book Muzan is after, but I feel like even if it's not the right one, if I take this one, he still might be pleased. You thought, I just need to know where they're going. Doing your best to look as casual as possible, you followed the pair out of the markets and down the main road, and then walked down a side street that you knew would come out elsewhere down the way, and ran down there, occasionally switching your outfit around to make it look slightly different each time, just in case either of the pair noticed you following them. Sometimes you kept your choker chain and thick black bracelet jewellery on, other times you removed it. You also buttoned your shirt up, then unbuttoned it another time, and rolled your pants up to make them look shorter. One blessing was that you went past a house that had a few overcoats drying out the front, so you borrowed one quickly to hide your form. Ducking in and out of the shadows, you managed to follow the two for a long time, watching where they were going. It was when they left the edge of town and headed out along a wide trail there that you had to stop. It would have been too obvious heading out there and being the only one following them. With annoyance, you stopped and headed back into town, now deciding to find out what organisation those two belonged to and where their headquarters were. Did you recognise who the guy and the girl were, hopefully? Stay tuned for the next chapter coming tomorrow. See you then.